What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report. Of course, today for February the 11th of 2020. For those that are brand new to the show, this is a daily rundown of the hottest gaming news from around the industry, bundled up, packaged in one tight, neat, digestible podcast format for you to enjoy, and we have plenty to dive into today, specifically in regards to Call of Duty. We will talk more about that. Then The Division 2 has a big expansion coming out. THQ Nordic is opening up a new studio. There's a lot to break down in today's show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Battle Royale is all but confirmed after two new teases. Modern Warfare Battle Royale will likely arrive sooner rather than later, as indicated by a new cinematic intro for Season 2 and a mysterious new mode on the game's menu. The new Call of Duty Modern Warfare Season 2 cutscene that plays in-game starts with the usual COD stuff, a team of grizzled operators shooting their way through an abandoned airport. After a firefight, Ghost rappels down and radios in to tell Captain Price they're targeting their own in Verdansk. Then the camera pulls back and we see a series of Battle Royale hallmarks, a sprawling map dotted by explosions and firefights, a plane airdropping more soldiers into the battlefield, and a ring of sinister green gas closing in on the area around the airport. Sounds like a BR, right? On top of that, the main menu for COD Modern Warfare now has a fifth option labeled Classified. That positions whatever is coming next as more than a new map or deathmatch variant, as a proper pillar of the game, right along with the campaign, competitive, multiplayer, and co-op. Call of Duty first jumped into Battle Royale craze with Black Ops 4's Blackout mode, finding success with fans of standard Call of Duty multiplayer and Battle Royale enthusiasts alike. Then COD Mobile made Battle Royale one of its headlining features. With BR slotting so neatly into the Call of Duty formula, it seemed like only a matter of time before it would make its way to Modern Warfare. Aside from dropping those teases, IW has not offered any indication of when we should expect the new Battle Royale mode to arrive. That said, it seems like it would be rude to leave a big classified game mode hanging out at the center of everybody's menus for long. So, this is very exciting for a variety of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, it's a Battle Royale mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Of course, Black Ops 4's Blackout was fine, but I'm excited to see how the mechanics of this year's game really mesh with a Battle Royale kind of setup, because Ground War works phenomenally, and I would love to see that, but without respawns, which is basically kind of what we are getting with a Battle Royale mode in Modern Warfare. So that excites me a good bit. But additionally, a Battle Royale mode right now in 2020 has the potential to do something different if they do want to do something different with Battle Royale. There is plenty of room for expansion, I think, within the BR space, especially since it has begun to die down a bit. Fortnite is not nearly as popular as it once was. Blackout is beginning to fade. PUBG even is beginning to die down a bit. And so you have potential to come in and kind of shake things up a bit. So that's what I'm hoping to see as the weeks do go on. Now, the question is, when will this actually launch? Probably not this week, maybe not next week, but I would say around the time the first piece of content drops from Season 2, that's probably when you are going to be seeing the new info on Battle Royale. I couldn't imagine them teasing this like this without launching it immediately. So that's kind of the way that I see this. I think you are going to have a couple of weeks of hype building up to some kind of release, maybe around the first part of March. That kind of makes sense in my mind. However, Modern Warfare has the big update, of course. Today, Season 2 has launched, but it is a absolute chungus of a download. Season 2 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare is now live. Servers are a go on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, but you will still need to download and install the update, and this is a big one. The Season 2 download file is 51 gigabytes on PS4, 68 gigabytes on Xbox One, and 67 gigabytes on PC. Suffice to say, while the season is kicking off now, you may be downloading patch 1.14 for some time. Quote, the community response to Modern Warfare since launch has been incredible, and we are thrilled to bring back some legendary fan favorite maps and an iconic beloved Modern Warfare character, Ghost, said Patrick Kelly, co-studio head and creative director at Infinity Ward. We are committed to continuously fueling the fun with more and more content for everyone and cannot wait for players to experience what's to come in Season 2. The second season of 2019's best-selling video game includes new maps and game modes, a season-long battle pass, new operators, and more. Here is the Season 2 trailer showing off some new maps as well as the new operator Ghost, a classic Call of Duty character. And of course, if you did want to check out the full thing, it's about a minute and a half long or so on the YouTubes. You can give it a shot. Actually, just a minute long. I apologize. But I must admit, I always have loved Modern Warfare, and I cannot wait to dive in through Season 2. Of course, one of my favorite shooters of 2019. Gonna drop it a like right now on that official Call of Duty channel. But man, that is a huge update. I mean, really, these are getting out of hand, especially for somebody that has the newer consoles with the 1 terabyte drives in them. This isn't so much of an issue, but for somebody with a launch day PlayStation 4, I mean, if you have the base game on top of an additional 50 gigabyte plus download, that's a lot of space. I mean, you only have room for maybe 5 games, and at the end of this entire content run for Modern Warfare, it might take up half of your 500 gigabyte hard drive. And for 1 terabyte, that's also a big chunk of real estate as well. I mean, I downloaded Modern Warfare on my Xbox One a couple of days back just because I wanted to play more on Xbox than PlayStation, and here we are. I needed to delete some stuff on my drive to actually make room for the game, which of course was not a big deal. I just uninstalled some of the games that I haven't been playing, but still, it can be a large inconvenience. And then on top of that, I'm somebody with gigabit internet. If I don't have that, that's a big problem for a lot of people because, of course, the download will take a significant amount of time, and then data caps, it gets really gross really fast. But if you want to play the game, that's the price you've got to pay. And of course, right now, you can download Season 2 with 51 gigabytes of a patch on PS4, 68 and 67 on Xbox One and PC, respectively. However, moving on, The Division 2's new expansion will rev up the story and revamp gameplay. Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is getting a paid expansion called Warlords of New York, which will add a slew of new narrative content and major gameplay changes to Ubisoft's shooter. The scope of those changes makes today's announcement sound every bit as foundational as the original Destiny's The Taken King expansion, which changed the trajectory of Bungie's franchise and raised expectations for D2. Of course, fans won't know for sure if Ubisoft has met the mark until they arrive in Lower Manhattan on March the 3rd. Warlords of New York will take players back to New York City, the setting for the original The Division, which was released in 2016. Ubisoft says it will finally see the return to the main storyline of that game as well, which was largely abandoned in The Division 2. That means putting players back on the hunt for Aaron Keener. Division agents will go on the ultimate manhunt for Aaron Keener, a former Division agent who has now gone rogue, said Ubisoft in a news release. Keener, along with his network of rogue agents, is now a major threat to the burgeoning rebirth of civilization. To track down Keener, agents will roam the untamed living open world of Lower Manhattan, a former dark zone that was recently hit by a devastating hurricane that hit New York City harder than anywhere else in the U.S. The main goal of the narrative campaign will be to discover and eliminate the other rogue agents, affiliates of Keener alluded to in several audio collectibles found in The Division 2. Ubisoft says that each agent will have their own unique backstory and will grant the player powerful new skills after they are killed. Those new skills appear to be just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to gameplay changes. After taking the time to hear and gather community feedback, Ubisoft said, core gameplay enhancements have been implemented across various topics such as build, diversity, gear streamlining, and even more meaningful loot. Changes will be made to the game's user interface and crafting systems, including modifications to weapon and gear recalibration. Ubisoft is also increasing the level cap from 30 to 40 and adding what it calls an infinite progression system. The expansion will also usher in a new era of seasonal content. Each 3-month-long themed event will introduce a new target for players to hunt, complete with additional narrative content and unique rewards. Multiplayer will also be getting a revision. Dark zones, contested areas that represent an extreme technical challenge for Ubisoft in the first game, were up and running on day 1 with The Division 2. But as it turns out, Ubisoft thinks that the rules for high-level Dark Zone play might have been a bit too complicated. The well-known Dark Zones from DC are also being revamped, Ubisoft said, returning to a simpler rogue mechanic. The focus is on rewarding player-to-player interaction, whether fighting against each other or helping each other against a tough rogue player. Players must be level 30 and World Tier 5 to access the new content in Warlords of New York. Each new edition of the game will include a level 30 boost, so players can immediately jump into the New York expansion. Pricing for the DLC has not yet been released, but the content will launch simultaneously for PS4, PC, and Xbox One, and it will then arrive on Google Stadia's platform in late March. Didn't even know this game was out on Stadia, to be quite honest with you. So this is exciting. The first thing I want to point out is that for those that say, hey, maybe I'll dive in and give The Division 2 a shot. How much is it right now? The base game is running for, and I am not kidding, $3 on the Xbox Live Marketplace, PlayStation Store, and on PC. That is a steal. It is 95% off. I would highly encourage you to check out The Division 2 for $3. That's literally less than the price of a Frilly coffee. You can do that. But assuming you can't, and assuming you want to wait for the new version of the game, then that could be your best bet if you do want to get everything in one big go. But regardless, this was one of the most overlooked looter shooters of 2019. A lot of people enjoyed this game, and I think that since it wasn't completely and totally incredible, mind-bogglingly revolutionary, it kind of got overlooked because, again, there was so much to build on with the original Division, and then the Division 2 came out, and it did iterate, but it didn't do much else. People kind of let it go, and ultimately that's kind of what we are coming back to here. There is more to do. There is a return to the story that people fell in love with the original Division, so hey, it's a good time to be a fan of the Division 2 because it looks like a lot of new content is coming to the game on top of what has already been released. So if you want to dive in, again, the game is $3 right now on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC, and will be that price for the next couple of weeks before the new content does launch again on March the 3rd. However, THQ Nordic continues its studio spree with the opening of Nine Rock Games. GI.biz reports that THQ Nordic has opened Nine Rock Games, a new studio already working on a new project. This news is not surprising considering that the last few years have been filled with THQ Nordic acquiring dozens of studios. Nine Rock Games is located in Bratislava? I have no idea. It's Slovakia, and headed by David Durkak, who has experience as the project lead of DayZ. Aside from DayZ, the rest of the team has worked on titles like Soldier of Fortune 3 and Chaser. Considering the prior experience of the team, it's highly likely that Nine Rock is working on a PvP survival game similar to the DayZ formula. Over the last few years, it honestly feels like THQ Nordic has bought up anything and everything they can. In February 2019, they bought Kingdom Come Deliverance developer Warhorse Studios, and shortly after raised millions of dollars for more acquisitions. In fact, last May, THQ Nordic claimed to have 80 different games in development before going on to buy even more studios. Although titles like Dead Island 2 seem like they will never get a release, THQ Nordic has been actively releasing and announcing games over the last year. August 2019's Remnant from the Ashes was a solid project, and the remaster of cult classic SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom is set to release in 2020. Ultimately, THQ Nordic has been showing that they mean business. They have found success with games like Metro Exodus, which will finally be releasing on Steam this week, and they have announced a plethora of unreleased titles, ranging from fan-favorite remasters to strange new experiences like Maneater. They have also shown they are willing to experiment with popular franchises, with Darksiders Genesis, which saw Darksiders take on the Diablo-like formula. And of course, DualShockers has all of the info you need to know, but man, they are continuing to open up new studios, continuing to make new games, and that is pretty exciting for somebody who loves new studios and new games. The question is, how are they balancing all of this? I mean, I understand that THQ Nordic is just a publisher, but come on, that's a lot to handle. And of course, the question here is, what game is this specific studio working on? Could it be a PvP game like DayZ? It very well could, and considering the streaming culture that we have currently in 2020, that would make perfect sense because it would probably take off like hotcakes if it was as good as DayZ, or at least half as good as DayZ, or in general just perform better than DayZ, because that game missed a large opportunity. But right now would be a good time to release a game with that kind of nature, because Escape from Tarkov is the big game on the streaming scene right now. How long will that last, though? Yet to be seen. But excited to see what THQ Nordic continues to do, and excited for the future of Nine Rock Games. Now, this next story is one that has been circulating for a couple of days. I was deliberating on talking about it or not, but here we go. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Sony has filed a patent for an in-game resource surfacing platform, which suggests tips, strategies, and purchasable items to players based on their situation in-game. The patent lists a variety of implementations for how the platform could work, with some versions cross-referencing a player's game data with other users who have completed the same objective, while others include a request to access a virtual store that enables the player to select resources for use while playing. As noted by all gamers, this could lead to players being pushed towards microtransactions while playing. Based on mock-up documents included with the patent, this could include on-screen pop-ups during gameplay, which point players in the direction of resources, and according to the patent, these resources may be downloadable content, add-ons, upgrades, items, tips, strategy, communal data, etc. One mock-up in particular shows a sketch of Kratos and The Big Snake in God of War 2018. A large box in the bottom right corner shows a further sketch of Kratos with the text, choose resource E. Based on your simulations, you will have a 90% probability of defeating boss X on your first attempt. The wording of this suggests that the platform could surface adverts for microtransactions during cutscenes for single-player games, even on your first encounter with them. You can read the patent for yourself and view all accompanying documents on PatentScope, although it is still tough going. This is not the first time that Sony family has incorporated patents related to advertising. In 2012, it submitted plans for adverts where, and I'm not making this up, the author says, you had to stand up, praise the sun, and shout out a brand name to close an ad. Okay, I believe you. But while in the wider world of gaming, other companies have also explored ways to use data to nudge players towards spending more money with microtransactions, and of course they go on to talk more about these specific instances. This sucks. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush with this, because specifically in regards to the example shown in the actual patent document, there are cinematic experiences within a game that are unrivaled. There are moments within a game that make the entire experience worth going through. The revealing of the World Serpent is one of the coolest experiences I have ever had in a game. God of War 2018 is a masterpiece. It is phenomenal. The last thing I need is a box popping up telling me how to do something. That is disgusting. If I need to know how to do something, I will literally grab my laptop, grab my phone, grab an iPad, whatever I need to grab, and look it up myself. I have no intention of ever using this specific feature, and I really hope that they never do implement this at all. Additionally, microtransactions become a very big problem in this specific scenario, because what if you have a kid that's 10, 11, 12, they're trying to get through a specific game, whatever it might be, and their parents' credit card is hooked up to this. Instead of actually playing the game, they say, well, that must be how I get through it, and then they continue to pump tons and tons of money into this gaming company, all without even asking their parents or without knowing what they're actually doing. That could be a big problem. So hopefully this is just a patent to hold the idea, but if they use this, I would imagine there is going to be a significant amount of kickback from the PlayStation community. And I know that I would probably be one of them, because that is really gross. Don't encroach on my gaming space. I already hate it whenever I get a notification that somebody sent me a message. I don't mind trophies, I don't mind achievements, but don't show me any of that message stuff. And this should at the very least be able to be turned off. Additionally, microtransactions should not be included. However, Nintendo Switch pop-up lounges are going to let you game before your flight. Nintendo likes to show people playing the Switch while flying on planes in its commercials, and it appears the company really wants to nail the point home with its latest promotion. 4 airports across the US will be grounds for Nintendo Switch pop-up lounges, which offer travelers the chance to try out the system and get some freebies. Launching later this month in Washington, D.C., Seattle, Chicago, and Dallas, the Nintendo Switch pop-up lounges include Switch systems in both handheld and docked modes, as well as charging ports if you already have a Switch. Some of the console's biggest games will be playable, including Mario Odyssey, Tetris 99, Super Mario Party, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The airports and dates are listed below. And of course, there you have it. But those who decide to purchase a Nintendo Switch or Switch Lite system at the pop-up lounge will receive a free carrying case, and anyone who visits will get a Switch-branded luggage handle wrap and Target Nintendo coupon worth $10 on any purchase of $75 or more. This is not the first time Nintendo has given airline passengers freebies. Last July, an entire plane of passengers on a Southwest flight received a free Switch and a copy of Super Mario Maker 2. Nice. Definitely beats a little bag of peanuts and cranberry juice. So, if you do want to dive in and play some Switch on the go without actually owning one, Washington, D.C., Seattle, Chicago, and Dallas are all going to be locations for the Switch pop-up shops from the 17th of February to March 29th for Washington, D.C., Seattle, and Chicago, and Dallas from the 13th of February to March the 26th. Very cool. Now, my thing is, off the top of my head, coronavirus, other kinds of flus. In general, it's gross to touch things in a public space. This is going to be a hive of scum and villainy and probably some kind of disgusting bacteria. I'm not going to be touching this, but by all means, you totally can. It's still kind of gross to me. However, to round out today's show, amazing. The Last of Us 2 PS4 theme changes from day to night in real time and is free with the codes you can get from Push Square, which of course have probably been taken, but perhaps not. Maybe these are just, wait, hold on. We'll try this out later, but it looks like there's a reusable code for the thing itself. Regardless, Naughty Dog has released an amazing dynamic theme for PS4 based on The Last of Us Part 2. It features lovely artwork of lead character Ellie sitting up against a tree with a guitar. Despite the apparent brutality of the upcoming sequel, it is a surprisingly peaceful theme, and the best part is that the artwork's lighting changes based on the system's clock. Very cool. In order to grab the theme for yourself, you will need to slap one of the two codes into the redeem section of the PlayStation Store, and you can find them below. So it looks like these are reusable codes. And for the Americas, listen up, pause, get a piece of paper. 4FMP-BBNM-J5L3. And for other regions, it is 9DEK-PKNG N445. You can always hit that back 15 seconds button on Spotify and get those infos again. But as for Asian territories, Naughty Dog says to check your region's PlayStation accounts on social media for more details, and the code expires on the 11th of February 2021, so you've got a whole year to use them. And again, there you have it. There is the theme itself. Very beautiful stuff right there, and man, do I love some Converse, which Ellie is sporting. Big fan of that. But cannot wait for The Last of Us Part 2, and if you can't wait, then by all means apply that theme and get yourself decked out in preparation for the game itself. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed this one, drop me a like down below and let me know what stories caught your eye. Of course, the show is hosted 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, so subscribe on your platform of choice and you can always come back for more. But until tomorrow, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.